Disney Plus is jacking up them prices, yo. And today, I'm gonna give you a reason not to 重庆报名, yo. Peter Pan and Wendy, which actually should be called Wendy versus the old white dudes featuring Peter Pan. It's yet another childhood story ruined by political correctness. Check this, the audience score on Rotten Tomatoes is 11%. Wow. We actually sat through this entire 100 minutes of this POS so you didn't have to. And in just 8 minutes, we're gonna show you exactly why this movie is whack, son, saving you 92 minutes of pure boredom, dog.
Yeah.
And stick around to the end, because you might find out that old girl Wendy just might be a lesbian, dog.
或者是 Wendy 哦。
Oh, 对，一群。
哦。
We're gonna find out if it's the sisterhood or the scissorhood. I actually wrote a college report on the original book, yo. And the original story was inspired by the author's own childhood trauma, where he lost his brother and younger siblings when he was a kid, forcing him to grow up. So he never had an actual childhood. The Peter Pan I remember was clever, he was mischievous, 好机车, and most importantly, he was smiling and making everyone smiling around him, yo. He was the party boy. Now in the original story, the author never really described what Peter looked like, but Disney chose to make Peter Pan white, and that's how we know him as. But apparently Disney wants to increase their DEI score because they decided to make him half white, half Jamaican Chinese. So he's like trifecta. Alexander Maloney steps up to give us his take on Peter Pan, and that is boring, yo. It's like watching paint dry on the wall. He never smiles throughout this entire film, dude. He's more like emo Peter Pan. He's not joyful, he's not party boy, he's gloomy as f. If Peter Pan flew into my window, I'd be like, dude, you need a drink? Seriously, he was like, come with me to Never Never Land. I was like, nah, bro, that shit's whack, dog. Cause I never ever go in there. White, red-lipped, bubbly, blonde-haired, all the fun. But in this new work version, homegirl is dark. She's pretty.
Taco Bell.
Don't say that. Don't say that, dog. I do not endorse that comment. And I don't endorse Taco Bell either. Anyone who's going to America, you know. Needless to say, it's like a Tinkerbell.
那个豆表。
Needless to say, this version of Tinkerbell is woke as fuck. In the original version, Peter Pan is the one that finds Wendy and convinces her to go to Never Never Land. But in this version, Tinkerbell hovers over Wendy's bed like, what you doing, girl? Which is completely different because in the original story, Tinkerbell hated Wendy, yo. She was jealous of Wendy. Tinkerbell and Wendy were not friends at all, dude. In fact, they were in conflict with each other. Tinkerbell was kind of in love with Peter Pan and she saw Wendy as a threat. But in this version, Tinkerbell seems to be like Wendy's new best friend, yo. So, Doorbell, aka Tinkerbell, she's Black Tinkerbell, she's Blinkerbell. Her interactions with her and Peter, she's很少. 她就是在跟 Wendy 在一起的. For the most part, in this 2023 woke version, she's just an accessory, dog. In the original Disney version, Wendy was more like the mother figure to Peter Pan, the Lost Boys, and her siblings. She took care of the younger ones and made sure that they were safe. But in this 2023 Disney ultra-feminist version, she is super OP feminist Simone de Beauvoir woke, yo. I'd say this version of Wendy reminds me of my ex wannabe girlfriend in junior high school who just used me as a tool man like a matzo call and then dumped me later for the football player.
Yeah.
But I actually have a theory. Maybe Wendy is gay, dog. Or at least asexual or some non-binary, some shit.
Yeah.
But I got 3 points to back this up. Firstly, in the original Peter Pan, when Peter Pan comes to that room, she's like, oh, you're injured. Let me give you a kiss. And then Tinkerbell jumps in and is like, hell no. But in this new version, she's like, oh, you're injured. Let me get... She's kind of like reluctant to even touch the guy.
Yeah.
So what she does is she pulls out a piece of metal that looks like a guito. And she's like, here, take this, you'll feel better. So she don't even want to interact with Peter on any sort of physical level at all. The second point, in this new woke version, 好像都不想要当妈妈. She actually says it 3 times. But in the original version, she never says anything about wanting to be a mom. She just says she doesn't want to grow up. So this new version is like pushing hard about don't be a mom, yo. On the Simone de Beauvoir tip hardcore. Number 3, the most important, her interaction with Tiger Lily is super sus, dog. Especially that scene where she's on the horse. Ooh, wee, I'll eat you up, girl. Now, Wendy 没有拒绝他, but she did not 拒绝他. She's kind of just standing there like, make your move. And you have to remember, this is set in the early 1900s when the UK and England was super ultra conservative, yo. So this type of, I guess, sus LGBTQ shit, the only way it's gonna happen is in Never Neverland, actually. But to put it clearly, during that period of time, there's only sisterhood, no sisterhood, yo. So in this 2023 woke Disney version, Wendy is more like the Simone de Beauvoir sexually ambiguous, borderline lesbian, non-binary avatar, yo. Now, in the original, the Lost Boys were extremely important because they represented the carefree, fun time vibes of boyhood, of childhood, right? No responsibilities. And most importantly to the author, they represented the childhood that he lost, that he didn't have because his siblings died when he was so young. But in this woke 2023 version, the Lost Boys are like lost everyone. They're like the lost two black twin sisters, the Asian girl with white paint on her face, and the Indian queen who seems a little bit confused about her gender identity. And speaking of the Native American princess, in the original, Tiger Lily was actually in love with Peter Pan and jealous of Wendy and Tinkerbell. There was like this weird love triangle soap opera going on. But in this new version, she in love with Peter because she's his sister? Strange. In fact, the only person she seems to be remotely interested in is old girl Wendy, dog. I'll eat you alive.
我们来玩剪刀石头布，我们一起出剪刀。
剪刀？我不是只会骑马而已哦。
我会出剪刀哦。
Now, this is the best part of this movie, yo. Jude Law nailed it, 100%. And this actually is the only part that keeps true to the actual story of Peter Pan. Captain Hook actually represents the writer J.M. Barrie himself. Just like in the original, Hook is afraid of two things: the crocodile with the clock and Peter goddamn Pan, yo. So, the crocodile and the clock. The author lost his childhood when he lost his older and younger siblings. So these two, the crocodile and the clock, represent time that has passed. His childhood trauma, something that was taken away from him. Which is why 他很讨厌听那个时钟的 TikTok. And then Peter Pan, whose name you cannot even say on his ship, represents his childhood, the irresponsible f***ed up shit that he did in his youth. And the pirates represent Hook's conflicted mind, because the dynamic is the pirates versus Peter Pan and the Lost Boys, which parallels manhood versus boyhood. Because the boys don't want to grow up and be responsible, and the men they remember their childhood when they didn't have to be responsible for everything and think was good time, yo. So let's put it more simply. Do you remember when you were young, like elementary school, junior high, maybe even high school, and you did some dumb, stupid shit?
Yeah, not yo.
And same here. And when I look back at my younger self, I'm like, man, I want to kill that motherfucker. That guy, yo. That is Captain Hook. Captain Hook is looking at Peter Pan like, I hate that younger me. Let's keep this shit real simple. Simone de Beauvoir, Wendy, non-binary, borderline lesbian avatar, doesn't want to be a mom, doesn't want to grow up, so she goes to Never Neverland. Hook finds out, bombs them, tries to kill the kids. Peter saves the kids, then Wendy slaps in the face for no reason whatsoever. Then, after that, Tiger Lily tries to pick up Wendy. Then, they all want to go back to the cave and go to sleep, but before they go to sleep, Wendy has to sing a song. But before she sings a song, she has to make it very, very clear. I don't want to be a mom, yo. Then they all wake up. Tinkerbell tries to pick up Wendy. Hook kills Peter. Then Tiger Lily tries to save Peter. Then Hook wants to kill Wendy. And then the most important, most teen-type part of the movie is coming. So obey yourself. Wendy's about to die, but before she dies, she has to fly. But before she can fly, she has to think happy thoughts, very happy thoughts. And the most happy thought that she can come up with is a future with no man. She's by herself, all alone, and she dies. And scene. This is the story. Some other stuff happens, but it's not really that important. I think the most important thing that we can take away from this movie is 到底是 sisterhood, I said sisterhood. So, I just saved you 92 minutes, dog.
Yeah.
And the next time someone asks you, did you see Peter Pan and Wendy? You can be like,